Very good.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of The Alliance with myself, Alicia Solomon, and Megan Hines, where we discuss everything the challenge. We are back to discuss the finale, the actual finale of season 38, Ride or Dies. We have finally come to a conclusion. It was long, it was brutal, it was excruciating, and honestly, I'm just glad that we have gotten to the finish line. We have winners. They're still losers in my books, but they have been officially named winners on the show. They won $1 million. And so we will talk about part two of the final.
Yeah, so we made it to hour 69 of this 100-hour final. We made it to the next checkpoint where each pair be hanging on the side of a helicopter as it flies over targets on the ground. Players will throw chalk bombs at the targets as fast as they can. In the order of how the last episode ended, with Lisa and Jordan finishing last, they had 15 balls to try and use. Tori and Devin had 20, and Bananas and Nani had 25. Also, with Bananas and Nani finishing first on the previous night, they were able to choose the order um, of who goes first. And also, the winner of this checkpoint will receive an advantage. And so, in the order that Bananas and Nani chose, it was Tori and Devin going first. And Devin was very confident and he wanted to have quality wins. They had 10 total hits with the chalk. Then Jordan and Nisa went next. As they were flying on the helicopter, Jordan called himself Tom Cruise. And at one point, Anissa gave up because she wasn't hitting any targets and put all of hers in Jordan's for him to finish it out for them. And they had 6 total hits.
Yeah, it was just so bad. Like, I don't even understand why they even tried. Like, I get it, but it's like Jordan wasn't hitting them. She completely just gave up and she just put it all on Jordan's shoulders. And typically, he would be the one to take on the challenge. No pun intended. He would be the one to take on the opportunity to do that. But I just think that she should at least tried more because the strategy wasn't the best. And I feel like once people started to hit more or less of the target, they were able to get more of a strategy on how to possibly hit it. But she just didn't try. Like she was just sitting up there trying to just be helicopter mommy, and it's just like, girl, why are you in the final? Like, come on.
She was there for the views. That was it.
And it was some terrible ass views. It wasn't even nothing like it was nothing to look at. It was freaking land.
Yeah. And then Banani decided to go last, and Nani was able to hit targets early on while Bananas was missing most of all of his, and he was getting frustrated. At the time, we were also hitting our 70. Bananas finally got some targets hit, but managed to only miss one, the very last one, and they had 5 total hits. How out of 25? Y'all only got 5.
Yeah, and this is the thing that they were just talking shit the whole time. They made Tori and Devin go first because they felt like Tori and Devin would have an advantage of not being able to see, or disadvantage on not being able to see how anybody was able to hit them. Mind you, they had the least amount of balls, they hit the most targets. Johnny and Banana sat there and watched two other teams go in front of them and still yet came out with nothing, and they had the most balls. It was just honestly an embarrassment. And I was just like, listen, at this point, I don't know how much longer this damn final gotta go, but it gotta wrap up soon. Cause
Yeah.
y'all just suck. Like point blank.
Throughout this whole time, at the end of it, I kind of likened it to, and I didn't want to make it shade on the Detroit Pistons, but it was giving Karl Malone and Gary Payton coming to the Lakers and them losing to the Pistons in the end. It just felt like old people coming and not doing anything.
Not too much on GP though. Carmelo is always for Carmelo, but not too much on GP. Not too much.
I know. I just had to like think of
But
like, okay,
I understand. I understand. It's
yeah,
like just Carmelo 2 seasons ago coming to the Lakers trying to come on with his buddy. Like it's like, all right, you can't just hop on the bandwagon and think that you're just gonna get to the championship and get to the ride automatically. Like you gotta do the work. And
yeah,
Johnny should know that because he's been there 7 times. Nani should know that because she done counted and I told her she's been a loser 11 times. So, girl, at some point you have to realize that you have to put in the work rather than just sit there and think people are going to carry you.
yeah. And so Devin and Tori, they win this checkpoint. They get an advantage, which is basically they can make the order the release for the next stage. Um, and yeah, which it is like sure that's not as much of an advantage because it didn't change anything.
No, I mean, this whole time, I think we said last week, like literally them winning the daily challenge, like it wasn't really that much of an incentive. Like Tori and Devin went first, they ran the show first. Then I think the elapsed time was like 10 minutes after they left, and then the last team got 5 minutes. So it wasn't much. Like it was a matter of 15 minutes.
Yeah. So Devin and Tori went first. Then they had Jordan Nisa go second, and then Bananas and Nani were last. Once they hit a fork on the road, they had to choose the next path, which they jogged into the night. That didn't seem right. Like
Um, I
it
don't
was
think they
weird.
did. I feel like they time lapsed it because one moment they was jogging, and then all of a sudden they was near the cornfield, and I was like, how did they get there? Like I feel like like I know I miss parts of the show sometimes because I'm just not paying attention. But honestly, how did they get to that point? Like they just was like, "Yo, stop running. We just gonna go to the next station, and we gonna act like y'all ran all the way there." Like it didn't add up.
Like this don't make no sense. The way we just saw them do chalk in the midst in the morning of a day, and then y'all is gonna have them start running, and then it's nighttime. That don't make no sense. But we get to hour 74, and Devin and Tori make a left at the corn maze. Nisa and Jordan go right, and Bananas and Nani go left as well. And they make it to the campsites essentially, and they're like, "Oh, we're done. I think we're gonna just sleep here." Um, but it's not that. TJ has his bullhorn, and he yells into the night that they have to find him somewhere in the maze in the midst of this new arena. And he released them in an order where they arrived. So Devin and Tori left first, then Banana and Nani, and Jordan and Nisa. Um, but the way that he was really yelling in his bullhorn, it was weird.
It was corny. Uh, I feel like it was just like they got to the stations, and then all of a sudden they lit it up, and they were like, "Oh, this is like kind of trippy," and like this should look like some kind of American Idol setup. This shit is whack. Like at where's the end point? Like where's the end of this thing? Like it just seemed never ending. And ironically, they had to run into a corn maze where it definitely was never ending, and it just
Yeah.
kept going and going and going.
Yeah. And Devin and Tori, they were on a roll of trying to figure out where to go. Nani said that she injured her knee on day two, which we kind of saw on that episode, and she's been dealing with it. And she was struggling to keep up with Bananas, who was yelling at her to come on, we got this, we can still make it. And Jordan and Nisa were running into dead ends like at every turn. Like at one point, teacher was like, "Hey, y'all going the wrong way." Like they were so confused.
Yeah, I feel like with the Nani situation, I get it. She was injured and she had stated she was injured, and Johnny already knew that. But at the same point, I kind of understand what Johnny is saying. Like, y'all almost at the end. Like, I get that you're in pain and I get that you can't keep up, but girl, you've been complaining so much about you want to win a final, you want to do this, da, 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 and you get there and you're in pain, and that's all you can focus on. It's like you have to put your focus on something else. And she was just like, I can't keep up. And it was just like, all right, I can see where this is headed with these two. And as for Jordan and Anissa, I just feel like Jordan feel like he knows everything. Anissa's just gonna follow his lead, and he just want to play tag with her and tell her to come get me. Like that's what they was doing the whole time.
Yeah. And Tori and Devin make it to TJ first with Bananas and Nani behind them. Nani was still pissed off at Bananas, and Jordan and Nisa finally joined the group. And then we learn that it's gonna be an elimination in the final. What? That I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is supposed to be a full on final, and you're telling us, oh, we're having a nation. Come on now.
Yeah,
That is not
this is where
serious.
I was like, they didn't have enough prize money to like split it up. Like what was the situation where they had to at that point in time? I guess what it probably could have been is they didn't have enough resources to make three different stations for them to do those challenges that they did after the person won the elimination, because they had it side by side set up so that the two teams could go, head to head with each other. So I guess they was running out of things for them to do over there, and they was just like, "Listen, we got to cut one of y'all out because we only got two of these things. Only two teams can make it," which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So because Devin and Tori made it first, they are safe from elimination. And that meant that Jordan and Nisa and Bananas and Nani have to battle it out for the place in the final to go for that money. And they're playing balls in, where we all know the game. They swap turns on offense and defense. In 3 rounds, you have the ball in the middle. But the way that they did it this time is like, okay, if you have the ball and you are in, you're good. Like sometimes at one points you didn't have to get the ball in the middle. You can just have the ball and get in the ring, which I found very annoying, but it made it go faster, I guess. Which at this point it's like y'all got this production. Y'all think I know what y'all doing, but this is so weird. But yeah, Nani and Anissa go first, and Nani scores first, but it was waved off because it didn't. I don't remember what happened, but um, child, like,
It is what it is. It is what it is.
and Nani's tactic throughout this whole thing was going for Anissa's legs, knowing that Anissa was hurt, and it was like they're both like, it's not personal. I'm just doing what I gotta do to get to second place.
Yeah, which honestly was just like, stop the freaking just the excuses. Like, y'all are saying, "Oh my God, this is my friend. I want to see her do well," but at the same time, I want this money. Okay, cool. Just stop qualifying it, saying like you have to do what you got to do. Like, clearly we know that, but y'all are still going for each other's jugular. So it's like, it's they're trying to be like sportsmen about it, but it's nothing sportsmanlike about that. Like, you are literally attacking their weakness, which is what you're supposed to do. Just stop qualifying it and telling us like, I feel so bad, but I gotta do what I gotta do. Like, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, and Bananas was able to score the first point for him and Nani. By one point, holding Jordan's lower half down. Oh wait, no, no, yeah. And then Jordan got payback and got the score as well after that happened. Nani left the hand on the ball. She was struggling on offense at times. Like, I'm just like, ma'am, what are you doing? It was so bad, but
She
so
tried
bad.
to keep hitting her with the little hezzy. Like, she tried to keep hitting her with the little crossover, and it was like AI on the Grizzlies. Like, it wasn't really a full crossover at that point. It was not all the way there, but Anissa, to her credit, was keeping up. Like she kept seeing the move, but Anissa was still slower than Nani. So like Nani was trying to get to those attacking points, and she was able to at some point. But I seen the strategy because I feel like somebody got hit with a crossover earlier this season, and she's just using that move to that advantage. Like she seen that move and she kept it in the tuck. Was like, okay, I feel like my ankles and my lower half will be able to be more agile than Anissa because Anissa's injured, but she was also injured. So it
Yeah.
was just like a weird time.
Yeah. One point on offense for Anissa, she got the second point. Even after Nani went for her legs, and this was the downfall of Anissa. Like we knew, like she was hurt already of her ankle. Now her knee was starting to give out. With the pressure that was being applied by Nani. The score is tied 2-2 with Bananas making quick work of Jordan. 1 point, Jordan dropped the ball after Bananas grabbed his shirt. That's why Bananas lost his sleeves, his long sleeve, because he was like, I'm gonna use this by advantage and just pull from Jordan's short shirts. Um, Nani was able to get the third point after she duked Anissa, and then Anissa's knee buckled, but she was like, I'm gonna try and get up and do this thing on offense. And she should have not tried.
Yeah, that was uh it was painful to watch. I know like we've talked about Anissa and her gameplay this season, and she's done relatively okay. And once she got injured, I'm like, this is just gonna come back to bite her somehow, some way. We just don't know what. And it just showed up in this way where she was not able to move her lower half the way that she should normally would because she's injured. And the fact that her knee gave out in that specific, like she's almost to the finish line, like almost close to the other side of the final, and her knee gives out, is like that's just how the cookie crumbles, girl. That's just what life is giving you right now. But I mean, I feel bad, and it was a sucky way to go out because she really did keep trying her best. Like she could have quit at numerous other times, but she kept going. But this just was not her season. It was just not her time, and her knee said, "Oh, no thanks. I'm going to just stop right here." And when she started screaming like, "Ow, ow, 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 ow," I'm like, "All right, give it up, sis." Like I get it. She was trying to stay strong, but girl, that knee was like, mm-mm, be a smooth 43. We got to stop right here.
Yeah. I felt bad. But I'm like, I get like want to push through, but when you know you're hurt, I would have quit at that point. Like I know it's $1 million on the line, but that I've now I already had a bum ankle. Now my knee's messed up. I'm gonna have to bow out, which in a sense
Mm,
they did,
yeah.
and they did
I mean,
because
her knee bowed out for her. But okay.
with Anissa being out of bounds, the win went to Nani and Bananas, so they win the elimination. With now going against Devin and Tori for the rest of the money. They go to sleep next morning, 8 hours remaining, and then we jump to 3 hours remaining at night. I am so fed up with production. We did not need this 100-hour final because the way they're cutting it and the way they're just letting time pass, it's just really odd and annoying and frustrating as a viewer.
Yeah, the time jumps really shouldn't have happened at that point. I feel like if y'all were gonna make 100-hour final, then y'all should have figured out what y'all was gonna do for them to actually complete it in 100 hours and not just make believe time. And I feel like the time jumps kind of just lost me after that point because it was honestly just y'all making up shit and just being like, I get the sleep hours, like, give them 8 hours to sleep. That's reasonable. They should be sleeping, right? Because how
Mm-hmm.
are they gonna continue going forward? But literally the jump from them waking up to them now being 8 o'clock is like what happened in that time.
I don't know. Like that just threw me off. I'm like, y'all want like this is a mistake. Y'all trying to make this a fifth sport. This is not fifth sport behavior. I'm sorry. It really isn't. And in the final portion of the final, TJ brings out the remaining finalists to watch the final two play a carnival game. That's what it was. So they brought out back Jordan and Nisa and Horacio and Broken Nose Olivia um, to see the rest of the final. And yeah, that it was horrible. The way that Olivia looked, I was like, Godspeed. I'm glad she was better now, but that looked horrible.
Yeah, we seen her earlier when she got bruised up like 2 weeks ago at the initial sight of her getting messed up. But honestly, I just feel like why y'all couldn't find them a flight, like the first thing smoking out of that town, for them to be still there, waiting for them to finish the final. Like I didn't need the audience because at the end of the day, like them screaming and shouting, like it was just like annoying.
Yeah. And so they're playing a game called Level Up where they have to smash through different rooms to reach a lever. First a lever will win the season. Um the first room was them hitting through spears and a wall. Bananas and Ani are making strides through spears and Tori and Devin are trying to catch up to them. Both of them finished level one with Bananas and Nani ahead. Level two was a puzzle that had Bananas and Nani stuck and arguing, and this was the complete downfall of basically everything they kind of built this whole season, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like to see it come down to this particular stage of the final and for them to honestly give up at one point. So essentially, they were trying to put the puzzle together. They were arguing, putting it together, and they just was doing whatever. They was doing their own thing and trying to make it one. Messed up, messed up the puzzle while Tori and Devin was being methodical, and they were able to get their puzzle. And then at one point, you can just see the defeat in Nani and Johnny too, because they were just like, "Well, how are we gonna get this? Like, the block must be stuck under, one of these other cinder blocks." And at that point, they were just too proud to just take down the whole thing and start over. Which I didn't understand because this whole time y'all been saying that y'all was gonna fight for this, y'all wanted this, blah blah blah. And then to get to that point and not being able to just at least put your pride to the side and just take the whole thing down so that you can get another shot to get to the other level, it was just ridiculous. It really was. And I like I don't feel bad for Nani, but I really don't because you really just sat there and did nothing and started crying. And Johnny had, Johnny's in the confessional crying because he didn't win this for you. And it's like, girl, we've been telling you this whole time. Like nobody is gonna win shit for you. You got to go out there and win it yourself. And you didn't do anything. You just sat on your two fucking big horse feet and just sat there and just did nothing. Like, come on, you gotta be crazy. Like that completely just blew mine. And then once Tori and Devin kept going, it's like they're the only people competing at this point. So clearly they're competing with each other. It's just it just didn't end well.
At all. Like even Horacio was like, y'all could just really undo it and just be fine. At the end of the day, if they weren't gonna the way that Devin and Tori were going at that rate, Bananas and Ani were not going to catch up. So they could just take the L, but still try and finish the puzzle at least, and just move on. Because at the rate that Devin and Tori were going, they were gonna win. But just at least trying to finish the puzzle, that would have been much better than them just quitting. Because Nani's been talking about, oh, I've always got to a point in the final and I just lose. Like, I never get over the hump. That's on you, like you said. Like, you have to be the one to push yourself even more. Like, I get it. You got that knee injury. Bananas was exhausted and his back was hurting. But y'all could easily just took it down and restarted again. But nope, y'all kept arguing with one another and frustrated with one another. And like I said, the pride was also getting to them as well. So that is a downfall of them being ride or die. It's like both of y'all don't have y'all can't be the bigger person in y'all's partnership. None of y'all, both of y'all can't do that and say, okay, let's do it. And we can at least try and accomplish something with this puzzle. Didn't do that. Y'all just sat on that y'all butts, like you said, and just watch Devin and Tori just ease to the win.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have more to say. That was just ridiculous. And once Tori and Devin got to their third level and taking the sand out and going to the other side, and they got through and under, they pulled a lever, and then that was the end of that. And it was just like so just anticlimactic for me. Like I didn't feel much seeing this. I mean, I haven't felt anything watching the show in a long time, but I didn't feel much about them winning. I just it was like so lackluster because of the way it ended. And I honestly felt like if Horacio and Olivia did not get injured, they would have had a better opportunity than Johnny and Nani to actually be competitive in this and have a chance. And I was like, damn, I wish they would have been able to get to that final. But, you know, there's always another time. They'll probably be back.
Yeah, it was funny how they kept giving Jordan the confessional talking about like how Tori has been doing. I'm like, we do not care. Like, I don't care about this subplot y'all got going with Jordan now being proud of Tori and always having love for her. We been knew like he was trying to do his best to get her to a final and get her win. He did that. We don't need this. Thank you, but no thanks. Because he was like,
We
"Oh,
went we went for him calling her a terrorist. Literally saying this girl was Osama bin Laden. To now, oh my God, I'm so happy for her. I'm so proud of her. I like y'all are not serious right now. And this is what I'm like, this is my also issue with freaking how they edited and made the story and just made it into bullshit because the storyline was nonsense to begin with. And the conclusion of it with basically Tori just saying that she went through ups and downs with Jordan when she didn't really have to, she put on herself. With Jordan saying, oh, he went through all the situations with Tori, which really didn't need to be happening, but you know, she dragged him into it, so it is what it is. But then you ended up calling this girl a terrorist. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't. I don't either. But we move on. I wanted to tweet this so bad, but I want to give this championship to Devin and Tori and Astrid because they really built. Like I told you in my text message, they brought the old and crippled to the final. This deserves an asterisk. Just how when Kevin went to the Warriors and people like that's an asterisk. This is an asterisk championship. I don't care. Fight me. I don't care. They brought an old man and people that are hurt to the final. Could not be
It's
me. I don't like this. This ruined the challenge for me, to be honest. I'm sorry, but it just cheapens your the work you put in to be a challenge champion. Like to me,
yeah, and I could agree. I feel like within the last couple of seasons, we see how it's been diminishing with people and how they get to the final. I mean, we had CT in the last two seasons, be CT, and we've seen CT be superhuman, even if he wasn't at his best. Like, he's going to be who he is. So I get those wins, and I can put that on him because he's earned that, right? Like, even though he shouldn't have been in some positions to be there, he still earned that. And I feel like with Devin and Tori, they've basically just kissed ass, coddled, got themselves to that point, and Nani and Johnny just basically quit and said F it, and that's how they got their win. It doesn't, I don't want to say it diminishes. It's more like a bubble championship for me.
yeah,
Like, the players weren't all there. You didn't really have the fans there cheering them on. Like, it just was, it is what it is because your circumstance and what was put in front of you made you win. It wasn't like everyone was giving their best fucking effort and this is what you got, the opportunity. So it's more like a bubble championship ring. It's just like, okay, cool, you did it, but you like everything, every circumstance wasn't at its best effort for them to get to that moment. You know what I mean? Like, everyone wasn't giving their best.
yeah. That's a better asterisk to me. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't like, but it is funny now that they won. I'll get to that. We got the okay, never mind. Yep, I'm just saying we got the cast for Global, and they didn't call Devin. He was an alternate, so one of them got the shot, but they went to 1 million. They decided to pull a Casey and CT from last season and share the money with everybody else. So, in the name of 38, they shared the 38K with all the finalists. And that is the end of the final. And we're getting to the tweets. Do you have another thought, real quick, before I get to the tweets?
Nah, it was noble, it was cute, but I feel like their appearance fee should be more than 38,000, to be honest. Like, as long as people have been on the show, like 38K is like more than your appearance fee on the show. At least it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about that. Okay, these tweets. Okay, so the first tweet is the excuses Nani and Nisa make when they get a little injury. Meanwhile, Olivia was gushing blood and begging to stay. Y'all don't want it bad enough.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Especially Nani. I feel like Anissa, she was trying, like she at least was like, give me the ball, let me try. But Nani just really just sat there. Like literally just sat there and did nothing.
Yeah. Because I'm like, y'all are too old. Y'all been doing this for forever. Y'all been saying I haven't won nothing in forever. You would think that you would have some more push to keep going. Like, even if like you know the odds are not gonna be in your favor, still go. Still do it. Like, even though I said like Anita shouldn't have tried to do the ball again, I commend her for even trying to do it because that shows she has something in her to really keep going at least. She doesn't show it all the time, but when she does show it, I applaud her for that. The next tweet. This final is so weird. They showed up, dropped some chalk, and now it's nighttime. I feel like a lot was cut out. I don't think a lot was cut out. I think they just didn't do anything for those hours.
Yeah, they were probably just setting up the next uh station and they just needed that time to elapse, which why the fuck y'all didn't set it up before, but whatever.
Yeah. The next tweet, interesting how all of a sudden everyone can help their partner out, but Olivia had to do the slingshot despite her finger being chopped off. Really makes you think. Because the way that people were pinning the balls into their partners' baskets in the helicopter, I'm like, you're not gonna do nothing?
Right. Right. And that's exactly what we said previously when even before we even like left that day of Olivia getting injured, like earlier, Devin and Tori had something to drink, and Devin was the only person to drink, and it's two people. So it was just a lot of things and a lot of politics behind the scenes that just didn't seem correct. But I mean, it's rigged. At the end of the day, we know this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The last tweet, it's really funny. Uh, they called Nelson, who isn't even a champion, but not you, Devin Walker. They were getting the licks in on Devin for not being global. And I just wanted to transition to that because we're getting that really soon.
I mean that is funny that they did, but I feel like probably the cast that they had assembled was well. Let me not even lie. I don't know. I really don't know why they they called him. Maybe they felt like he was too boring, he wouldn't fit in, whatever the case may be. But or maybe they were just like they don't have enough room for the both of them, so they just decided to choose one, and they went with Tori. Which I mean, neither would have been fine with me, but still, we got we got some global castmates now to go at it with each other, and I just think that it's going to be interesting to see what's coming up with global because we got Johnny back, we got Tori back, we got Danny from the USA show, we got Kellyanne. I'm excited to see crazy ass Kellyanne. Like this
Yeah.
lady is insane, but I can't wait to see her.
Like, it's really fun. People are like, why is Kellyanne here? she's not a champ, obviously, but she's gonna bring us something, and I'm actually excited what she does with this
She's gonna bring
other people.
psychoticness. She's gonna bring psychosis. Like this bitch is crazy.
Oh goodness. Um, but yeah, that's all the tweets. I'm just also very interested in how global is gonna actually happen. Because it's really funny. Like they're doing global, but like only one of the international seasons even just premiered. The UK hasn't premiered yet, and I think Australia hasn't premiered yet either. Only Argentina premiered. So by the
And they did
time,
some weird scheduling with like the international show, like where they just put it all on 1 week, and like it was, I don't know what's going on with the behind the scenes with the production and the scheduling and how they're airing these shows, because it's just not making any sense. But now we have the remaining 2 weeks, I would say, with the reunion wrap up of this season 38, and then we're right into global. We are right into the next show, and again, it's just so weird and awkward because there's so many things that are going behind the scenes. They're deleting original programming that they've created. They're taking seasons down. It's like they're trying to do like an erasure of parts of this show and this franchise and all of the other franchises that spawned from it, which is essentially from the real world. But it's like they're just giving us other things that we're not asking for. But I mean, it is what it is. We now have global. We have a date for global, which is March 8th, and it'll be on Paramount. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I just want to see the how the cast interact with each other, what the politics is looking like, how we get to see, their living situations. Is it going to be like the USA show? Is it going to be like the regular challenge? Like, what's the vibe going to get?
yeah, we'll see in the coming weeks. I was gonna put also a tweet in from the clip of Fessy, but I was like, I don't want to give that any just due. So that's it for the rest of this episode.
Yeah, we gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to follow us more, you can follow our Twitter page at Duel Lines Pod. You can follow Megan at Megan Hines. You can follow myself at ace_s5. You can follow us on YouTube at Duel Lines Podcast. And we'll be back next week to continue the wrap up of season 38 Ride or Dies, but just more challenge conversations. So thank you guys for listening and see you later. Bye.
Bye.